What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Dean, aka the Blue Crusader, and today we'll be back for some more Fortnite tips on how to win more games, aka how to win more solo games, or basically just any matches that you're playing. So I'm going to be diving into a few tips, and without further ado, let's jump right into it. So the first one is get into more fights. The only way you can actually improve on Fortnite, be it with shooting or building or just both in general, is just get into more fights. You don't want to be camping too much around the map till the end because you're only going to get low kill wins, which are pretty cheap in the end, and these wins are not going to be consistent because when you do come into an enemy or come into a fight as it will be, then you won't really have the skill required to win a 1v1 if you're just camping and never getting into combat and never experiencing what it takes to actually build and win the fight. Only camp when needed. Sometimes it's great to camp, especially in the final circle when maybe it's a 1v1v1 and there's only 3 people left and you're waiting for the second guy to get taken out by the first and waiting to get the drop on them, because sometimes pinching can be useful. Although it's pretty cheap, it can be a useful strategy. So don't camp too much, but there are actual places when it is needed or when it can be appropriate, such as camping in the final ring or in a building when there's a huge fight outside and you don't want to get taken by surprise. The next tip is land on low priority areas in Fortnite to loot up. Now, this is because if you land on a low priority area on the map, this usually changes depending on whether the map gets changed. For an example, recently Tilted Towers got updated, so it's got a new futuristic look. This means that a lot of life is going to be breathed back into Tilted, so this is going to be a primary drop location. Although it kind of always has been, there's going to be an influx of players right now. What I mean by this is land on an area where not many people are going to take advantage of it and not many people are going to drop, because this means that there's going to have an abundance of free loot that you can take advantage of. The little competition basically means that nobody else is dropping there, or not many people are, and they're not going to contest your loot or kill you early before you actually get stuff. The next thing is weapon combos and loadouts. Now, the AR Shotty and SMG combo is a really nice loadout to get from the get-go if you get lucky with loot, or get sniper instead of the SMG. This is because if you do miss your shotgun shots, you can easily take out your SMG to spray them down. Now, obviously, with the re-implementation of the drum gun, which has recently got added, the drum gun's a really nice SMG to actually take in this combo. And an AR could be something simple like a normal AR, or obviously a heavy AR, depending on how good you are. Now, obviously, since I'm doing this video at the start of Season 9, they have actually vaulted all the pump guns. So this combo is a little more less effective, it's a little more ineffective, as it will, because there's no pump shotguns, so you're not going to get the high burst damage from a pump. But they've added the brand new auto shotgun, so this is the assault shotgun, and it's actually pretty powerful. It's really accurate, the cone of the shots are really tight, meaning that most shots are going to hit, but it does slightly less damage than a pump close range. But it can be really useful maybe to take an AR, one of these new heavy shotguns, and the drum gun, which is returned, and this makes up for a deadly combo. Obviously, if you do switch up the drum gun for a sniper, the sniper is going to get you some easy one-shot kills, and if you want to get better at sniper, you can check out my last guide, How to Snipe on Fortnite, which is on my channel. The next thing is obviously get as many mats as you can. This is going to be mainly wood that you need to get, because wood is fast to build and it's easy to gather, and there's an abundance of trees. There's basically no limit to trees around the map, so you can easily gather wood. But one thing which I learned when playing Fortnite is don't neglect metal and brick. I made this mistake a lot, and sometimes it did cost me engagements. Now, I thought just because I could really quickly build something, wood's only the thing that I'm going to need. But brick and metal are obviously stronger versus bullets than wood, and this makes it really strong depending on the weapon the enemy has. If they've got a high power SMG, they're going to be able to just drill your base really quickly. So this is where you might actually need brick and metal. The only downside though is remember that wood builds faster, and this means that these materials are going to build a lot slower than wood does, meaning it's not going to reach its full potential and health on each piece until the build's completed. Always try and build up to get the top over your opponents in build fights. This is obviously the high ground, and keeping the high ground always makes it the main priority in a fight because it means you're going to win more fights. If you have the high ground, you're easily going to be shooting down upon the enemy and they're going to have to be blocking the bullets from above, which is a lot harder than shooting down, of course. So keeping the high ground is really nice, and make sure you know when to exit a fight, because if someone's a better builder, they can actually snatch that high ground from you. So this is why you need to practice building, maybe use some pyramids to block people's staircases from trying to get up to you, and perhaps getting those redeployable gliders as loot so you can get out of a fight if you need to, if someone pushes you advance. Try to rotate early on the map to push for the best position in the next ring. Now, we're not playing Apex Legends, so you can't always tell where the next ring's going to be. It's kind of just a guessing game or just a waiting game when the counter actually times down and you discover the next ring. Try and rotate early so you get the best position in this. Obviously, this is really important at the end of the game when the rings are going to get smaller and smaller and you don't know specifically where they're going to be. You need to move as quick as possible and try and get that priority. Now, on the flip side, there is also another way you can do this. If there's a really small zone at the end and you're not going to be able to push for the best position, pushing last into the zone can sometimes be good just to get a drop on the opponents from behind, so then you can steal their position. So you really just need to know what choices to make in this regard. Now, if you do build a tower or a 4x4, make sure to build around you in every single direction other than the one that you're actually aiming at or shooting towards. This is because you don't want to get sniped from another angle when peeking or get pinched from behind by an AR. Be patient, don't lose high ground just for an easy kill, because it can leave you at a disadvantage to others. For an example, when we talked about keeping high ground earlier, sure, you can lose high ground or exit from a fight when it's necessary, but if you lose it to snatch an easy kill from below, getting back to the high ground might be quite hard, especially if someone's trying to get you from behind. Now, when you're using the shotgun, originally these tips were for the pump shotgun, but since that's been removed, I guess it's going to have to work for the new auto shotgun. Make sure when you're placing shotgun shots to build in between, because this is going to minimize taking damage during the reset time of each shot, because remember, there is a few milliseconds before you can shoot again, and you want to block the enemy shots that they're returning. If you practice and master editing, which can be pretty hard, you can also create windows or holes in builds to pinch or take shots back at enemies. Now, listen out for shooting and gunfights when rotating and just practice. Don't neglect shooting mechanics and learning how to aim. A builder with no aim can lose just as easy as someone with no building but great aim. It always works on both ends of the stick. If you do want to get better at aiming though, you can check out my tutorial video in the link in the description below of this video to learn how to get an amazing aim on Fortnite with my tips. Now, after you initiate or finish a fight, others will try to take you by surprise. This is what I mentioned before. This is why you need to block each sides of your build so you're not exposed, especially to snipers, and you just all around need to be beware for pinchers, because they'll always try to shoot you from behind or take advantage when your back's turned or when you're in a fight with another enemy and you may be leaving your guard down. So this is something you really need to consider to make sure you don't die in a really annoying way. Try to find a vehicle such as a baller or ATV, aka the quad bike, to get around a lot easier at the start of the game. There's a lot of other ways you can get around, such as the geysers and the new hoop rings, which they've added in the brand new Season 9 update, so you can traverse across the map a lot quicker. Unfortunately, you will have to try hard now in Fortnite or even sweat, because the game has progressed to the point that it's mainly full of tryhards or sweats. And this just basically means that people are trying the hardest. They're not taking it as a fun game or relaxing. Everyone's going to be trying the hardest to actually try and win each fight, and most of them are just going to be pros who have hundreds of hours in the game and play 10+ hours a day. So if you lose, don't be disgruntled, because you're not always going to have the same experience as someone else. There will be some noobs, obviously, to be easy kills to pick up, but there are more good players than bad in each game. Now, the flintlock pirate pistol weapon can be used to launch yourself up a few levels to an enemy, so if you do have the lower ground, this can be used as a gap closer and also does high damage output if you actually hit the enemy. The grapple hooks are also still super useful if you're not as skilled at building. Remember, practicing building is paramount, but if you're not at the stage where you're confident enough just yet, make sure to take one of your item slots as a grapple hook if it drops from a chest, because you can use this versus an opponent to kind of gap close and get to their position, and it can be used to actually get that high ground. Obviously, if you're against a master builder, they're just going to take the high ground again back from you, but it can be really useful against an intermediate builder. Pirate cannons that were added previously can be good for map rotation, although I'm not really currently sure if it's confirmed that they're still in the map after Season 9. A lot of zip lines being removed means you must find other ways or use the methods I mentioned before to get around the map. Retail row is a good drop due to the density of players and terrain, as well as the abundance of loot, mobility near Dusty and the volcano nearby, which makes map mobility fast as well. They added new shield sound effects though to get a better incentive if you're hitting shield or health points, so this is a really easy way to know how low an enemy is because there's special sounds now for each type of hit. Take advantage of this so you know exactly what kind of a situation your enemy's in. As well as this, they did add new footstep sounds a while ago, which makes enemies kind of more stealthy during shootouts. So if you're shooting a weapon, the weapon sound will usually overpower the sound of footsteps, which can make it super easy to get backstabbed or pinched easily from behind, so you really need to be beware of your surroundings. I hope these tips helped you get better at Fortnite, and I hope they'll help you win a lot more games. If these tips were useful, then smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel, and also you can see my guide on how to aim better and how to become a better sniper on Fortnite in the description links below. Thanks for watching guys, make sure you subscribe to support the channel because I've got some really awesome top 10 videos and Fortnite content coming every single day on this channel. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll catch you next time.